Welcome back to the beautiful world of Trails of Cold Steel. I almost said Trails of Cold Sky. That's probably what they're gonna call it for the Calvert game. Also, apologies ahead of time. The next few episodes might be a little bit shorter than usual. I think I mentioned that I am in the hurricane area, and although we're not getting the direct hit, but we have our hands full. Alright, what do we got? Not enough to exchange anything. One thing I do need to do before I leave is fish. It behooves me not to miss any fishing opportunities. Isn't that right, Taizo? You guys are the monsters. Daddy told me never talk to those people. But I told him I can't do that. Every customer is a customer. Even if they're customer number 7. Okay. Nice and early in the morning. Okay. Alright, let's do a quick visit. I don't think it's gonna let me go. Well, maybe it will let me go to the school. So there are a few places I want to go. Just want to check to see if any new book came in. Nope. Wait, hold on. What? Okay. No new books. Get it with the time, man. It's the internet age now. Nobody reads books no more. It's all holographic orbital projections. Isn't that right, Kenny? Can I fish? Nope. Still can't fish. When do I get a fish again? I'm hungry. Dolly, I believe, was the waitress in the tavern. If there's one thing I know is that if you work in a tavern for a long time, you're probably going to be turning to religion. It's one of those jobs that really wears on you. Is anybody else here? In case you're wondering, I'm looking for Rosina. She's not around. What happened? What did you do, Ornella? Oh. Okay, do a little quick tour in the academy. I'm thinking whether I wanted to buy new swords. I don't know if it's up yet. But one thing I do know that is I have to do a little bit of septh check because I have a new party now. So I don't want... Actually, can I access that right now? Yes. Poor guy is automatically relegated to the backup member. Okay, everybody has 2 open, which is good. Means I'm doing the right thing. That used to be how I can tell whether, I'm making the correct progress based on the game. So if you have any guest characters that comes in, you can check their levels. And if your level is pretty close to theirs, then you say, oh, okay, I'm doing okay. But then, of course, game started to do... Wait a minute. Thomas Lysander, what are you doing? So here's the thing about Thomas Lysander, or Instructor Thomas. He wears very, very thick glasses, but he never opens his eyes, so what's the point? How did people come to this? Yeah, well, not every culture, but a lot of cultures have things like this. Let's say acquired taste. I would call them really bad food. But at some point, they just become, a cult classic, if you will. Nobody actually likes to eat them. But eating them is how people bond together and enjoy their history together. In the US, that food is called French fries. French fries are fine. I can't eat French fries. Not sure if I told you about this story before. The reason I cannot eat French fries is when I was very young, the country I lived in at that time, was slightly behind the times. So there was a McDonald's that opened in my city, and of course at that point it was a huge event because it's the first McDonald's in the entire city, and it's Western stuff. People are really into it. And so my father and I went to this McDonald's, and I have no idea what to order. I'm the 7-year-old kid, and so he's like, okay, well, I've been to McDonald's before, so let me order you a Big Mac and some French fries. I'm like, okay. So eating the Big Mac, not particularly into it. Like, what is this stuff with all these bread? I want more meat. But then, as soon as I bit into this golden, crispy but chewy inside stick of potato, my life was changed. And I just couldn't stop eating it. I just kept eating and I kept eating. And I was like, okay, well, why don't you eat mine too? So I got 2 big pieces, or big, what do you call them? Carts of French fries, and I just kept going. And so I finished all of that, and that's basically all I had for lunch. And we were walking our way home, and I just felt, oh my goodness, what's going on in my stomach? And 3-4 minutes later, I just threw up on the ground. Ever since then, anytime I get close to a fried potato product, be that French fries or the potato wedges. Potato wedges is actually not too bad, even though it's like, baked potato. But sometimes it's slightly fried. I just get nauseated. It's a daily reminder of the avarice of greed. And of course gluttony. But it's mostly greed. I think greed is a bigger umbrella term which gluttony falls under. Okay, Toa, whatever you say. We're just here to pass time. That's it. So, nobody's checking the doors here, right? I can't go up here. Nobody's around? Okay. There's probably a security camera somewhere. Maybe the reason Patrick hates me so much is he found out that I accidentally snuck up there and was trampling on his carpet. Also, by the way, I checked the store. There weren't anything really interesting. So, you know what? Okay. I'm gonna cheat here. So in this episode, I'm just going to walk around a little bit here and then, talk to a few folks. And then we'll call it there, and I will reconfigure my quartz before we leave. And so next time when we start, we will go straight to Celdic. Isn't that right, Principal? Silly young lady. Why do you ask such kind of questions? Do you know what a field is? I was gonna say, hey, Instructor Mary was the only one here, but no, the Vice Principal is always here. The Vice Principal is kind of a jerk, but he does work hard. So we'll let it pass. And also, you're not doing anything. You're just sitting there. Your desk is completely empty. Also, your little piece of bookshelf is completely empty. She's just there to soak it all in, as they call it. Let me tell you about this practical exam we just had. Dear sir, I think your little ponytail brings up shame to this academy. Never trust somebody who has a mustache and a ponytail at the same time. Okay. Anybody sick? Nope. Was half expecting to find Feast just laying on the bed there. She's like, oh, I know we're supposed to have field study today, but just take a little nap. Doesn't hurt. And why are you just sitting there by yourself? You're kind of suspicious. Here's my theory. Getting up early feels good in your mind, but feels bad in your body. Because you feel like, man, I got up so early, I'm gonna be so productive. But your body's like, go back to sleep. What are you doing? What, you think this is a game? You're never gonna live to 70 this way. Anybody on the roof? At some point, I'm going to make the joke that Andre is on the roof. You won't get it now, but maybe you won't get it later. But I will make it. I made it once. How about... Hold on. Are you a grumpy custodian? My theory is that there's 3 different kind of custodians in games. The first one is a grumpy custodian. He's kind of like super sarcastic about everything and he's seeing it all. The second kind is the really particularly wise custodian, who despite being a custodian is actually like a sage of some kind. Doing custodial work is his way of meditating. And then the third kind is sort of the party animal one. He does all sort of weird things. He's just a really fun guy. Are you saying that your family is the horses? I'm gonna tell your mother. Poor Emily, all the way by herself. Well, I have Alicia in tow. Emily, I'm not sure if you understand what field study is. It doesn't have an ass. Commoners. What? What kind of excuse is this? I mean, I understand low blood pressure because in the morning when you wake up, you're like, you have not had anything to eat, but here's the solution. Wake up faster, wake up sooner, wake up earlier, whatever the right word is. Can't go in there. Okay. Well, I think that's all we can see here. So, can I fish? No, Ito's here. Not Ito, Ado. I wish what they did with Ado is, you know, the first couple times you talk to her, it's super confusing because she's talking directly to the flowers, but she doesn't really, you know, let you know that. So you're like, hey, is she talking to me? I kind of wish they kept that shtick. Her entire thing is just, she's talking to the flower all the time, but you think she's talking to you. That'll be funny for the first 5 minutes. And the last 5 minutes. It's the U-shaped curve of repetition versus funniness. If you repeat it enough times, it gets not funny, but then if you keep going with it, it gets funny again. Funny how that works? If you watch my videos, oh, I don't know, 300 hours of it now. I'm sure you're on the other side of the U-shape now. Okay. I do want to see if there are anything else. Okay, no master quartz. Nothing there. I should probably exchange out my Sepith math. I have a bunch of them. Yeah! Good as money. And that second thing I want to do, actually, before I reconfigure stuff, is I do want to open a couple more slots. So, because there isn't the thing with having arts tied to certain step values on the same line, you're actually encouraged to open different lines. But I can only open one, I think, right now, because the first one is 40, and everybody else. Okay. Let's do Ring. He's our protagonist after all. Go. In case we get something, that'll come in handy. I do want to also get a few action, but I don't have enough. Mind is good though, so we'll make one mind. Nah, do I have enough mind? I don't have a mind. Pay me no mind, but I'll make one mind. Analysis is also good because if you don't have it, it's helpful to put it on somebody. It's like the information quartz, but now you have to spend a turn on it. It's called skill depreciation. Anyway, we're gonna cut this episode off here. Next time, I will finish configuring the quartz on my own, and then we'll head with the train to Celdic. Thanks for watching. See you next time.